So let's discuss local variables first. Variables declared within a method, constructor, or block are called as local variables. So inside loops or conditional statements, so those variables can be considered as a local variables. And after completion of its task of method, the memory allocated to that local variables would be deleted by runtime environment. Scope limited to the method or block in which they are declared. They cannot be accessed outside of this scope. Lifetime created when the method is called and destroyed when the method exits. Initialization must be initialized before use. They don't have a default value. So whenever you want to declare local variables, you need to assign value to it before use it in further program. So here we have declared one function calculate sum. So we are doing some calculations over there. So in calculate sum function, we have declared one local variable sum, which is of integer data type. And in for loop, we are just adding the value of I into the sum. So as soon as this calculate sum function gets executed, the memory allocated to some variable would be deleted from the memory. So let's understand local variables and its scope with the help of this program. So here I am taking namespace using system. After that, declaring our own namespace over here with the help of namespace keyword. In namespace, I am declaring one class program which contains static void main method. So as per the definition of the local variables, variables declared within a method or constructor or block are called as local variables. And the scope limited to the method or block in which they are declared. They cannot be accessed outside of this scope. What does it mean? Let's understand with the help of this program. So now I am declaring one function public int sum which accepts two parameters integer x and integer y. Also declaring one more variable result over here is equal to x plus y and returning the result. So as this result variable is declared in some function, it will not accessible outside of this function. So if I am trying to use that variable in main method, it will throw the exception at compile time only. Result is equal to 50. So at compile time, compiler is showing exception. The name result does not exist in the current context. If I am trying to build the application, it will throw the same exception. The name result does not exist in the current context because it is declared in some function and not in a main method. Even if I declare any variable within this scope, integer x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 0. And if I am trying to use that variable outside this scope, it will throw similar exception. The name x does not exist in the current context because this x variable is declared in this particular scope. So the braces in which that variable is declared define the scope of that particular variable. Must be initialized before use. They don't have a default value. So let's understand this as well. Suppose I'm declaring variable t is equal to not equal to 0. Here I am only declaring the variable, and if I am trying to use that variable in further code, it will throw an exception. Use of unassigned local variable t, and if I am trying to build the application, it will throw same exception. Use of unassigned local variable t. To avoid this error, if I have assigned any value to it, that is default value, then it will not throw any exception, and we can execute this statement successfully if we run this application. So let's print this on console. So the initial value of t is 7, and after this statement, the value of t would be 8. So it will print on command prompt 8 as a result value of t. Yes, the program is run successfully, and now it's showing value of t is 8.